Morning. Well, this is going into my 8th treatment I've had of radiation. No dreadful side effects. No side effects really at all if I follow direction. And so I thought I would give you a couple of tips. I was given pantoprazole so that I don't have stomach acid building up or gas. And seems to work. Take it in the morning before I make breakfast, and I take it daily. I started taking it 3 days before radiation started. And I've asked my physician to show me what the pattern looks like, and they have no problem doing that whatsoever. So my advice to everyone, if you've got a question about your treatment, ask. If you've got any discomfort, discuss it, because they're there literally to help us. Now remember, when we had chemo, we were discussing using Miralax because chemo is constipating. Well, radiation is the exact opposite. So I've been advised to take Metamucil, the psyllium seeds, and as much fiber as I can tolerate. As you know, if you're on radiation, we can't have many raw vegetables, but we can eat raw fruits, and we should do it. You know, bananas, all are good for us. So toast, we should be eating and taking care of our bodies. And this helps us. According to a colorectal surgeon I met, we need between 25 and 30 grams of fiber a day. Based upon how we're allowed to eat, that's impossible. So use the supplement. It'll help you, and I'm looking for it to help me as well. So keep you posted. I am not tired. I am up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and hey, I'm ready to go, so I hope you are too. Now let's discuss our society. I read an interesting article called The Army Way. And you know, there always used to be that saying, right? It's the right way or the Army way. But if you're in the Army, that's the right way. You gotta do what the Army says. And the Army is not living with COVID. No sirree. They've given everyone until August of last year to be vaccinated and boosted. And folks who haven't done it and haven't been in compliance, the Army is discharging them. And I think that's right. The Army's logic is, if you've got a sick population, there's no way you can be combat ready. Well, that should apply to all of us, right? If you've got sick folks in meat packing, you're not going to get the meat out, or the poultry, or anything else for that matter. If you've got sick folks who are working the front lines in the hospitals, they're not going to be able to be as productive either, and patients will back up, and they won't be taken care of. So it seems to me that the Army way is the right way. We're the majority. The majority of us wants to be vaccinated and wants and needs the rest of the population to be vaccinated as well. Otherwise, Those of us who are immune compromised can't do anything except be in isolation. I don't think that that's fair or appropriate. And it looks like a lot of the folks who are espousing anti-vaccines are also part of a global community and movement that is not only anti-vaccine, but they're also extreme right wing. Gotta be a reason. Gotta be a reason that they're all banding together. Which leads me to, when we band together, those of us in the majority, we really do good. Spotify, people are leaving Spotify in droves, and Spotify has to decide for itself now how it's going to regulate its platform. Sure, I want the federal government to step in and regulate that platform for them. But until that happens, we, the people, have a voice. And we've chosen not to go onto Facebook's platform either. And for the first time in Facebook's history, they've suffered a huge decrease in profit. For the first time in their history, they've lost billions. Now it's time for the government to step in and regulate social media platforms, cable, and any organization that thinks they're a newspaper, and make them tell the truth. We've got the Communication Act for that. But our voice has power, and we don't have to think it doesn't. Somebody put me into a website that says things we should be happy about. I put a couple of the articles on my Twitter account at Grandma J. Silver, and I'd like to bring that to your attention. Why? Because if we, the people, decide that an issue is important to us, we can get it done. In South Bend, Indiana, they were bemoaning the fact that manufacturing had left them, and they needed income producers in that city. And people were creative. And what did they do? They started with little micro businesses and started purchasing property within South Bend. And before you knew it, you had artists, you had flower shops, you had craftsmen, and 200 people are now making a living in South Bend where they never thought they could make a living before. All through something called incremental development and microloans. Sure, it took some time, but it also took a lot of guts for folks to speak up and say they're not happy with their life and they want to change it for something that they can live with and feel better about themselves. That's a good thing. In Dallas, Texas, they're one of many cities that are getting money from the federal government to house the homeless. The only problem was, and I imagine it's in every city, they couldn't really get in touch with landlords. Landlords didn't want to wait around for somebody to look at their property and tell them if they passed inspection or not. The agencies weren't coordinated with the social workers, and things kind of came to a standstill until a group of individuals got together on this program and decided that they would build the software that would unite the agencies, unite the social workers, and be able to expedite putting homeless people into housing. And it works. And they have a goal. They have 4,500 people who are homeless in their city, and they have a goal to put 2,700 in housing almost within the next year. So when we, the people, think proactively and with intent, there's nothing we can't do. We can sway what happens on social media. We can get more organizations unionized. Just keep putting pressure on the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, and keep putting pressure on those corporations for the union wage and the union way of life. Because that's what we need, not in a couple of states, but in all states, so that everyone makes a decent living. No more, let's go to one state instead of another because we know the wages are so much lower or the taxes are so much lower. We don't want to do that dance anymore of how low can we go. We want to be able to say, no, labor is raising its hand and wants to be counted and wants the benefits and the money that they're entitled to and the safe conditions. And when we do that, we won't have continuing inflation. They've gotten rid of it, some products in Israel. It's a good thing. People raise their voices, and Israel knows that if they raise prices on food, they're going to have an encampment by their Knesset, and they will have to give in the end. So they're being proactive. They're not going to get the people upset. They're now going to watch as Ozium, which is a main manufacturer of food products for Israel, decides not to raise their pricing. Sure, they'll take a hit on profits in the short term, but trust me, it won't be for long. And as a small business owner, I remember many times in the short run when I absorbed prices from my manufacturers, and I didn't pass it on to my customers, not unless those price increases became entrenched. So there's a lot we can do, folks, and we should be doing it, because when we raise our voices and we say what we want in our society, nobody ignores us. You can see it with the plunge in Facebook's profits. You can see it with the outrage over Spotify. You can see it with unions slowly but surely making inroads. No, we're going to have a better life, but it's going to be because we're involved. We have intention. We want to make sure that the society we produce is the society the majority wants. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you next week. And check out my reaction videos. I'm going to be doing something special for Black History Month. So take care, everyone, once again, and God bless you. And thanks for listening. Bye now.